So it has been a minute. I know that in my last video that I posted, I was like, I'm gonna start filming more. Guess what? That was a lie. I mean, like, I really very much want to, but life has been lifing. But I mean, I'm not gonna try to like force myself. Like, I never want to like force myself to make these videos because like at the end of the day, this is just something fun for me to like look back on. I just recently got back from Ireland. Ariana and I went on like a little like road trip around the whole country, and it was a lot of fun. And while we were there, I got engaged. So I have a fiance now, and it's very exciting. Even besides the proposal, it was like the best trip ever. It was so much fun. And we kind of just didn't really, like, we had a plan, obviously, like when we went from place to place, like so that we knew where we were staying and stuff. We had just like random stuff that we knew we wanted to do, and we kind of just drove around and did them, and it was a lot of fun. And a lot of my things that I wanted to do was going to different bookstores. My favorite bookstore in the entire world is in Dublin. I went to Dublin for like 2 weeks when I was 19, I think, and I mean, fell in love. I was planning on moving there when I was done with college, and then I met Ariana and I fell in love. And I was like, fuck, I can't leave this country. I need to be with this girl. But it was really fun to go back and kind of share it with her and then get to go to some other places. But yeah, my favorite bookstore in the world is in Dublin. It is called Books Upstairs, so I knew I wanted to go back to that one. And then there were a bunch of other ones that I got to go to that were really cute and really fun. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that I got from all the bookstores I went to in Ireland. So first things first, we did start off in Dublin. We landed in Dublin, and then we stayed there our first night and then headed off that next day. But we did have like kind of the afternoon and evening in Dublin. So we started at my favorite bookstore, which is Books Upstairs. It is Dublin's oldest independent bookshop, and it's so freaking cute. Like this tote bag you can see looks like the front of the store itself. And it's so cute. Like, all the books are down in this, like, and then there's a little like side part you can go into, and then this upstairs part is a little cafe, and there's even like a downstairs, like you can go into the basement, and there's even more books down there. It is just the cutest little place, and I'm obsessed with it. And I knew that when we were going back, I was like, this needs to be our first stop. I need to go back to this bookstore. I definitely got the most books at Books Upstairs. I think every other bookstore I got 1, maybe 2 books when we were there. So the first day that we were there, I stopped in and got Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This has been on my TBR for a little bit, and when I saw it there and I saw this like super cool cover, I was like, oh, like I love my favorite trope right now in like book cover designs is this, like, I don't want to call it like Renaissance-y, but like, you know, like this old like art, like the really pretty artsy, almost like Renaissance-y kind of paintings. So like this, A Certain Hunger has it, Woman Eating has it, which I loved both of those books, and I love that the cover art is just gorgeous. So when I saw this one and it had like that similar thing, but also this hot pink like font on the front, I was like, sign me up. And it is also, I believe, a retelling of like Carmilla. It's like a Carmilla type story. So I'm so excited to read this one. This one looks so freaking good. The next book that I got that first day that I was there, I actually don't have because I sent it to one of my best friends. We are doing a book swap every month of this year, with like different themes each month of what, you know, genre the book could be. And while I was over there, I knew that I wanted to get their book from Books Upstairs because the last time that I was in Dublin, I was there with them. And so I thought that would be like a nice full circle kind of thing of getting their book swap book for that month from the bookstore that we went to when we were there together. And that book was A Short History of Queer Women. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember who the author is, but like I'll put a picture of the book right there. That's another one that I actually do want to read as well. And I was just texting them about it yesterday. I was like, please let me know when you read it, like how it is, because I've been wanting to read it as well. So I picked that one up for them. Our theme for this month was nonfiction, so that was the book that I bought for them. And I'm really excited for them to read it and to hear all about it. In the back, this like really funny quote about them being like in love. So historians were like, ah, yes, they were roommates. So I thought that was really funny. So those were the first two books that I got when I was there, and I got my little tote bag also. And then after we kind of went around the whole country, we went back because we had to fly out of Dublin again. We were in Dublin, I think that evening, like our last evening there. So I went back to Books Upstairs, and I got two more books. The first of which being the Virago Book of Witches by Shahrukh Hussain. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. Y'all know I'm terrible at pronouncing names. The last video that we did, I straight up called that woman Shari. Her name is Sherry. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. I'm so sorry, everyone. But yes, the Virago Book of Witches. I think this, I'm not gonna lie, I saw this cover, I saw the word witches, and I said, give that to me. I'm not even sure what it's about. I believe it's a bunch of short stories. Yeah, it's a bunch of short stories, I guess, just about a bunch of different witches. Oh, there's different, oh, they're all different like cultures, versions of witches. So there's the Fox Witch of Japan, Italy's Witch Bewitch, Scotland's Good Wife of Lagan, Biddy Earl, and the terrifying Kali and Baba Yaga, who come in many forms to haunt, entice, possess, transform, and challenge. Oh, it talks about Lilith, Hecate. Oh my god, okay. I'm really excited. I read the back, I promise, when I was in the store. I just forgot. I knew that it was like short stories. I just kind of forgot. But I will buy anything about witches. I will read anything about witches. I love a good witch book. Mwah. Thank you. Oh, I'm talking too much. I keep coughing. All right, so the final book that I bought from Books Upstairs, I don't think I bought any. Yeah, no, this is the last one that I bought from Books Upstairs. And that is Queen Bee by Juno Dawson. I have read another book of Juno Dawson's. I remember not like loving it. I think it was Her Majesty's Royal Coven was the other Juno Dawson book that I read. I liked the premise of the story. Like, I remember liking the premise of the story. It's been years since I've read it, I think, at this point. And I did enjoy her writing. I think there were just certain parts of the book that I just didn't, like, totally love. But I saw this one, and I really liked the concept of it. It's also, like, relatively short. Like, she's a teeny tiny book. I'll probably read this in, like, a day or so. And it's about Anne Boleyn, so that's really cool. I am very excited to read this. Oh yeah, Her Majesty's Royal Coven is the one that I did read. It's on the back here. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this one to see what it is all about. I think it basically is like Anne Boleyn was a witch and things like that. Once again, cover art just looks sick as hell, so I very much do judge books by their cover, but it's fine. And if you say you don't, you're lying. So don't judge me. Okay, so the next, not really a bookstore, but I did get a book from it. The next place that we went, also in Dublin, was Sweeney's? I think it's Sweeney's, but there's only one E, so I'm not 100% sure. And while we were there, so this is Dublin's like oldest apothecary. It like used to be like an apothecary shop. They still sell like a lot of or they have a lot of, you know, the apothecary like looking things in there. It was a really, really cool place, and I can't believe I didn't go there the last time that I was in Dublin. But Ariana found it and was like, we need to go there, like you're gonna die, you know, when you see it. And so I was very excited to go in there. We met this lovely guy who worked there called Wayne, and he was very, very sweet. And they sold a lot of James Joyce books. They had them all like kind of set out. I love James Joyce. I read Dubliners when I was in high school. I then tried to read Ulysses and failed. I would love to try to read it again sometime. And just last year, I believe, I read A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, and loved that as well. I will fucking eat up anything that James Joyce writes. And so while I was there, I got this really cool edition of Dubliners. It's like, it feels like an old book, like it's like that, like almost fabric-y kind of binding that's just kind of painted on. And it's so pretty. It did get a little dinged up when we were traveling, but it's okay. And so I'm very excited. I've been wanting to reread Dubliners for a while because it has been, I think at this point, 10 years since I've read it. Yeah, I read it when I was 17, so it's been a little over 10 years since I've read Dubliners, so I've been dying to read it again, and I'm very excited for it to be this edition of it because this is just so pretty. So yeah, I got this while I was there, and while we were talking to Wayne, he saw that I had a James Joyce book in my hands, asked if I was a fan. I said, yes, of course I am. And he started telling us all these kind of stories about like how the apothecary, this Sweeney's that we were in, was the sort of inspiration for James Joyce when he was writing Ulysses. And the main character, the apothecary that he goes into, was based on Sweeney's. And so while I was there, I also bought this little soap. I don't know if you can even see it. It's not gonna focus. It's certainly not gonna focus, so I'm just gonna get a little like B-roll shot of it so I can actually show you the really cute like label on it. Oh my god, it smells so good. So in Ulysses, I was unfamiliar because, like I said, I tried to read it and just epically failed. But in the story of Ulysses, the character, you know, slowly is going mad through the whole book. He goes into this apothecary and finds this soap that smells like lemon, and he kind of like sniffs it to bring himself back, and he keeps it like in his pocket and smells it to like kind of keep himself grounded a little bit. And this is the soap. They like, somebody found like the original recipe for it and made it, and so they sell it at that little apothecary now. So I was like, obviously I need to buy this. Like, oh my god, it smells so good. I also really love like a bar soap. I really want to get into like making my own soap. Like specifically, I really want to try, when my body wash runs out, I want to try making the black soap from Practical Magic. I really want to try making that, like the Aunt's black soap, you know? But I'm really excited about this, especially because I always have a lot of trouble finding stuff with no fragrance in it, or like artificial fragrance, because I'll break out in hives. So I'm excited to try this, and it just smells so fucking good. Right, so the next place that we went, I don't think that I found any bookshops in Belfast when we went. I was kind of, when we were in Belfast, I was a little more concerned about all of the vintage shopping that was happening there, so I didn't really stop at any bookstores. But the next bookstore that I stopped in on our trip was Charlie Burns, which is like a secondhand bargain bookstore in Galway. And it was, I mean, so beautiful in there. It was like it was like a maze, like trying to find your way through this bookshop. There was like all these little like doorways that just led into like more books. It was so freaking cute. I wish that I could have spent more time in there, but we were like on a bit of a time crunch when we were in Galway. So while we were there, I found A Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. I love Ava Reid. Ava Reid is probably one of my new favorite authors. I will read anything that she writes. I just read Lady Macbeth last year. I believe in November or December I read that book, and it ended up being, I think, my favorite book of the whole year. Like, that story was so insane. I love the story of Macbeth. I remember reading Macbeth when I was in high school and like just being obsessed with it. Specifically Lady Macbeth. I was very, very interested in her and her character. And And so getting like her side of the story was really, really cool. Or her side of the story. It was like a retelling, obviously. But that was really cool. And I love anything Ava Reid writes. And so when I saw this, I had never actually heard of this one. The only other Ava Reid book that I was aware of that I hadn't read was A Study in Drowning, which I think is a series. So I do want to wait for it to be complete, because I hate starting a series and then having to wait for it to like get the next books. So I want to wait for that one to be finished. But I saw this one and I had never heard of this one, and I believe it is a queer story. So I was like, I gotta get this one. So I'm really excited to read this. I think this is going to be my next read. Once I finish the book that I'm currently reading, I think I might read this one next. So I'm really excited about this one, and she's a big boy, so I like it. I'm very excited. Yeah, and also, once again, the cover art is just adorable. There's like these little mushrooms. There's this like skull. It looks like a deer skull. I'm not 100% sure, but like just stunning. I love it. So I'm very happy I found that. And then I also this one's kind of a little ridiculous that I bought. So I was on the hunt the entire time that I was there for like a book of like Celtic paganism. I have really been recently interested in paganism, kind of like looking into that and learning about all of that. I've started celebrating like the pagan holidays, things like that. So I was really interested and was like, well, when I'm in Ireland, I'm gonna try to find like a book of Celtic paganism, because like my ancestry is very Irish. I want to like connect with it that way. But I didn't find anything about paganism while I was there, but I did find this Celtic spell book, which is, I'm actually kind of really excited about this. I love a good, I have my whole like little witchy shelf right here with all of my fun little witchy books. So I'm excited to add this one and to kind of delve into this and see what's inside of here and what all of these little spells are. I think it does talk about like Celtic culture and things. So it does talk a lot about like, there has like a whole chapter on Celtic culture and Celtic deities. And just different like beasts and creatures and things. So that's actually, I'm really excited about this one. I feel like I kind of just picked this one up on a whim and was like, ooh, spell book, also Celtic. I didn't think that I was going to be as into this as I was. I like left the bookshop, I'm not going to lie, and was like, why did I buy this? But no, I'm actually really excited to look into this and see, specifically all of the like the creature section. I'm a big like, I love a cryptid. I love learning about different like mythical creatures and like legends and stuff from other cultures. I remember in my Spanish class when I was in high school, we had to do like a presentation in Spanish once a week. Every single week my teacher got so tired because I just kept picking different mythical creatures to talk about, like from like at different like Spanish speaking countries. I would pick like different like basically mythical creature cryptid things to like talk about, and she's like, I'm begging you to pick something else for next week, like please pick a different topic. But I am really interested in that, and honestly I might start with that chapter. The next place that we stopped was the Dingle Bookstore, and I think this might be I think this book might be the book that I'm most excited that I bought while I was there, because it is The Hobbit in Irish. Now, am I going to read this? Probably not. My Irish is not the best. I've been trying to learn Irish Gaelic on Duolingo for like probably a year. Actually, that's a lie, not a year, like 6 months maybe, since I found out that we were like going on this trip. A couple years ago, I also tried to start learning Irish Gaelic, but I'm just really not the best at learning a second language. I still don't speak Spanish very well. I understand it. I don't speak it very well. I can't write it. I can read it and I can understand it, but I will answer you in English. Weird little side story for this. When I worked at Home Goods, a lot of my friends that worked there, their like first or second language was Spanish. They would all like, we would have our little like tea circle, and they would all be speaking in Spanish at each other, but I would be listening and be like, ooh, okay, yeah, I know what you're saying, but also I can't answer you in Spanish, so I'm going to answer you in English so that I can still be a part of the tea. But long story short, am I ever going to read this in Irish? I would like to. I hope that eventually I can. Is that going to happen anytime soon? Probably not. Do I now own a copy of The Hobbit in Irish, though? Yes, I do, and that's all that matters. And I'm very excited that I own this. And it's also the really cute, um, like this version of the cover, which I'm obsessed with, and I don't have this one. All of mine are like, oh, can you see it? Oh yeah, my little Lord of the Rings shelf. All of mine are the like leather bound ones, the little teeny tiny ones, which I'm obsessed with. So now I have like this copy of it in Irish also, which is really, really cool. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, you're coming home with me. I love this. And last but certainly not least, the final bookshop that we stopped at was in Killarney, and it was called the Dungeon Bookshop, which, first of all, obviously I can never resist a bookshop. Certainly cannot resist one called The Dungeon. It was so freaking cute. I think the whole like first level was like school supplies and things like that, and then you got up to the second floor and it was all just like secondhand books. And I was not planning on buying anything from there. I just wanted to like go in and look around and like see what they had. But I found this really cool edition of The Book Thief. I don't even know if it's going to show up on the camera right now. I can't tell if it's like actually, if you can see it. Once again, I can just B-roll a little bit of it, but I'd never seen this edition of it before, and I think that it's so pretty. I still have yet to read this book because my friend Nick has been borrowing my copy of it for 3 years, I think, at this point. So I don't think I'm ever getting it back, which is fine. Nick, you can have the book, my treat to you, because now I have this cool copy of it. Yeah, it's got like a little bit of a stain up here, and she's a little worse for wear, but I think that she is beautiful nonetheless. So now I can finally read this book because I have a copy of it again. Once again, she is a thick one, but I'm very excited to finally read this book because I've been wanting to read this for, I kid you not, like 10 years. Like I've been trying to read this, I think, since I was in high school. And every time that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll finally read The Book Thief, I read something else. So now I finally have it again and I can read it eventually. Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep putting it off. I don't know. But yeah, so those are all of the books that I got while I was in Ireland. I did also, this has nothing to do with books. Well, it kind of has something to do with books, but it's not a bookstore. While we were in Killarney, actually like literally right around the corner from the Dungeon Bookshop was a restaurant called The Shire. And it was, as you can imagine, a Lord of the Rings themed restaurant. So of course I forced Ariana to eat there, and I took videos because I was obsessed with it, and it was so cute, and it was like raining outside, so it was all like I walked in from out of the rain into this like little hobbit hole of a restaurant, and it was, oh my god, it was so cute and it was so much fun. Yeah, I mean the food was like fine, it wasn't like anything to write home about, but the vibes were great and that's all I cared about. Those were all of like my little bookish adventures while I was in Ireland. Obviously we did so much more that I don't even have time to get into, but the trip was just like so wonderful and so magical, and I'm so happy that I finally got to go back to Ireland and to go there with Ariana. It was like really beautiful and really amazing. Okay, so that is it for this video. I do want to start, I was thinking about this yesterday when I was thinking about like filming this, knowing that I was going to film today. I was thinking about yesterday of starting to do at the end of my videos, since like I said, a lot of the time, I know like people don't really watch this is really for me, and I like to look back and see like what I was doing. So I think it would be really cool to end the videos, or at least some videos, with what I'm currently reading, what I'm currently watching, and what I'm currently listening to. So right now I'm currently reading The Club by Ellery Lloyd. I just started that yesterday on my commute to work. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a like a thriller mystery about this like home club thing that all these like celebrities go to. And it starts off immediately with like people dying. So I was like, work, I'm here for this. So that is what I'm currently reading. What I'm currently watching is The Seven from Dropout TV on like the Dimension 20 section of it. If you're not familiar with Dropout TV, it is the like streaming service that College Humor created. College Humor is now Dropout. And they do a lot of like D&D campaigns on there, which I've been really, really into. I've watched so many of them at this point now. I am completely obsessed, and I'm currently watching The Seven. I think I'm about like 3 or 4 episodes into it. I'm loving every second of it. So that's what I'm currently watching. And what I'm currently listening to is Joe's new album, The Crux. I have been listening to that song, especially because it's been really nice out. Like when I drive to work on the weekends, like when Ariana doesn't need the car and I drive to work, it has been so gorgeous out. I'll just drive home the entire like 15-20 minute drive with my windows down, blasting that album. It is so good. Specifically the Potion. The Potion is like my favorite song on that album, I think, because it just reminds me of like the guitar in the beginning specifically reminds me of Never Going Back by Fleetwood Mac. As soon as I heard that little like guitar melody in the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing music. Like I've loved Joe since even like, not to like be a hipster or whatever, but even before fucking End of Beginning like went viral or whatever. I really did really love his music. I do love End of Beginning. That's such a good song. But I've really, really loved his music since I like found him on like I found out that Joe Keery like did music. I was like, oh, sick. Love him. Let's like take a listen. And I like actually really, really loved it. And it's very different from any other music that I listen to. So I was like really shocked that I loved it as much as I did, but he ended up being my top artist of 2024. And so when I found out that he was coming out with this new album, I was like, hell yes. And I like pre-saved it. So yeah, Potion has been my favorite, I think, from this album. Also Charlie's Garden is really good. Obviously, I'm assuming that it is a reference to like a Beatles like esque type of song, like because it sounds very Beatlesy. Charlie's Garden is reminiscent of like Octopus's Garden. So those are my 2 favorite songs from that album, at least right now. I don't know, maybe I'll keep listening and find a new favorite. But yeah, that's my currently reading, currently watching, and currently listening to. So that is it for this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that happens to be. Bye, friends! Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about the fact that I've been reading a lot about World War II? I'm an 80-year-old man.